Yo, what's up? We're making a drill metal beat today. Kind of in the likes of Lucii, gnarlynick, or Revenant. Big rest in peace to Revenant. I don't know what else to say. Rest in peace to him. We were meant to work on an EP, but some stuff got in the way. If you ever need any, help, make sure to reach out to friends or whoever. I don't know. But let's get into this tutorial. So we're going to start with an electric guitar. Drill metal, you can either mainly go just straight guitar, or you could do what I do and layer a pad with it. But with the way that I laid out my guitar, it's kind of heavy on my CPU, so I'm going to be playing one by one, and then I'll try to see if I could play it all at the same time while recording. If not, I'll just layer the beat. But here's the first pattern that I'm going right into. I'm using Shreddage Legacy. This is pretty good, but you have to kind of know how to play guitar to use it. I kind of don't know how to play guitar, so it kind of sounds robotic, kind of doesn't work the best for me, but I'm just going with Shreddage, and I'm using the Legacy Modern Metal preset. So what I did was I laid out this melody for the intro. I use the Phrygian scale under View, Scale Highlighting, other Phrygian. Using the Phrygian scale is pretty good because you get a lot of notes that are side by side, which makes a lot of tension and makes music sound a bit more scary. What I did do that's different with Shreddage is I used a key switch, because Shreddage is meant for emulating a guitar pretty well. And there's these things called key switches so that you can change how the guitar is being played. So you can hear right here I'm playing muted notes. How it would sound normally without that key switch would be like this. But I didn't want it to be that intense at the intro, so I used mutes, which is kind of like a palm mute, pretty much. If you want to make the guitar feel more realistic in Shreddage, what you can do is you can highlight your notes and kind of just give them a bit of a kind of like a randomization with the velocity. You could do some stuff with the offset. I didn't actually do that for this beat, but you can. So I followed up that palm muted chugging guitar with this lead guitar, and together they sound like this. I layered that because usually in metal music there's two guitar tracks. There's a rhythm guitar and a lead guitar, and this follows that almost to a T pretty much. And then I also layered a pad under it to try to fill in the music a bit more. So at this point my audio is going to start crackling like crazy. I do have a gaming computer, it's just that Shreddage is super heavy on your computer parts whenever you start playing everything together. So the audio might be crackling a little bit. I might have to replace some of it, but we'll see how it goes. And once we do that, I went right into the counter snare. So what I did for this was just a normal drill bounce, like this dotted 8-note pattern. And I just kind of filled in the spaces between some of them with lower velocity notes to kind of give it more bounce. Whenever I'm doing that, I'm mainly kind of spacing them out a little bit, trying to do it at the end of the 4 and the 8 so that it's not just crazy all the way through. It kind of picks up towards the end. You could hear that mainly at the end because I start going crazy with the hat rolls and changing the pitch and everything. If you're going to be changing the pitch and everything, I'd recommend bouncing around with the velocity and just seeing what works, as long as you're filling in the spots in between the 8th note pattern. So once I did that, I cut out the rhythm guitar right before the drop, and I made a new pattern, which is going to be sustained notes. I think it's playing about the same thing, so this is the pattern that I switched to for the hook. The lead guitar also has a note pattern for the hook, which is going to be this. And the pad is actually the exact same under it. I just used the same pattern all the way through. For the hook, I brought in the rest of the drums, which is going to come together like this. With drill, there's a lot of effects, mainly gunshot effects, stomps. I used a crow at some point. Actually, it's a hawk. And whatever the fuck horse sneeze is. I gotta figure out what horse sneeze is. Hold on. Alright, so that's like a money counter sound effect. But I put that all down. I'm using the same hat pattern all the way through. I'm just using normal drill type snares. Drill snares get their bounce from not being on the 3 and the 7, so you usually hit the 3 just so that you get that main clap at the beginning, but you can delay it from the 7th to either the 8th, or what I did was I did like an 1/8 and a half, which is kind of crazy. It gives it more of a bounce. So you hit that, and then I also have this bell in the background, which is just hitting before some of the snares to kind of give more of a percussion layer. Can't really hear that bell too much, it kind of gets drowned out, but I have it in here anyway, so I might as well show you it. What the hell. After that, I'm gonna go down to this kick, which I sent all the way up in velocity just so it really punches through the rest of the mix, since we're using an electric guitar and 808, all that stuff. I have it maxed all the way out and I pitched it down a little bit. This is how the kick sounds normally, but I have it pitched down and the velocity pitched put up, so it's like this. Put a wave shaper on it just so it doesn't punch all the way through the limiter. It kind of stops it from going past the 0 decibel mark. With kick patterns, I kind of leave it a bit more sparse. I'm not filling in too much. This is filled in a lot, but I try to keep it towards the end of... I don't know, this is actually pretty filled in. But like if you're usually doing drill, you might kind of hold off and start doing crazy stuff with the kick at the end of the 4 and the 8, just so that the kick isn't going too crazy, because you can get your craziness from the way your 808 slides, which is a perfect segue because I'm gonna just hop right into the 808 because that's probably what everyone's waiting for. I just kind of slid everything. I do this effect where the 808 kind of dips down in volume, which gives it like a delay effect. So I just copied one of the slides over and just changed the velocity. It's that simple. It's a second 808 pattern with more drill type slides. Pretty simple. You can just kind of use drill 808s. Depending on how crazy your 808 is or how crazy your guitar melody is gonna be, you can do like a 808 that just hits like once and just like kind of like waits and then comes in and like does more slides at the end. But that's only if your 808's really crazy. This is like a normal type 808. I got out of a Slippery Haze kit. I think it's called the Empire drum kit. It's kind of an AM 707. For like these types of beats, some of the best drum kits I honestly think you could use are from Camshot or Camshit, whichever one you call him. He has some pretty wild 808s. I didn't use any in this, but like, just listen to some of these. You're gonna be like, what the hell? I can 100% see these on metal tracks. Yeah, these have crazy distortion. Like, you could use these. I've already got a placement using, I think this was the 808. This is cracked. Like, I don't know how the fuck I even use that. It's just so distorted. I don't even know if there's any bass in that thing. If you're like using drill kits, sometimes you want to play with mixers with the 808 and just see what comes up. Some people like error beats and so on have mixers that like add a lot of reverb and like distortion that changes the whole characteristics of your 808. It kind of goes crazy. For the follow-up verse, I took out some of the sounds and I went back to the muted guitar, but I still kept the lead from the hook, just kind of to make the verse a little bit different from everything else. Because if I used the exact same patterns as the intro, it might have not been that different from the intro, and it would have just sounded like we were looping back to the intro. And then I have the 808 cut out right here just before the drop so that the drop feels more impactful since the 808 will hit again. Sometimes you just want to cut some stuff out and make things a little bit more barren so that it feels like something's about to happen, which is what I did for this pre-drop. I also took out the lead guitar just so it's the pad and the palm mutes. For the second drop, I just have the normal transitions that I was using prior, like a riser, stomps, gunshots. I use a lot of ghosty effects from like the worldwide drilling kits, but these effects you can kind of find in other kits like Slippery Haze and so forth. So that adds a lot of bounce to the drop. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not too much work. The main workload is going to be figuring out how to use the electric guitar VST that you're using. If you don't want to use something that needs to be articulated as much as shreddage, you can use like Odin 2, sample, I guess, I don't know, any of the shreddage bank, ample guitar maybe. If you like download an electric guitar and you can't really find a distorted metal preset, you can use this amplifier called Archetype Gojira. Any amplifier you can kind of use and get a distorted sound out of it. I don't actually have this enabled on the beat, but this adds a lot more distortion to the palm muted guitar. But other than that, here's the beat. George Thank you.